Hi, welcome to Apex Tai Chi. This is Dr. Jia. This week, I want to explore a simple idea. The felt body shapes our experience. We often assume that our experience of life is created mainly by what we think. Something happens, we think about it, we interpret it, and then we feel something. But our experience does not begin with thoughts alone. Before we have explained the moment in words, the body is already experiencing and responding to it. The brain is continually receiving information from breathing, posture, muscular tension, balance, pressure, temperature, heartbeat, and the many internal changes taking place from moment to moment. All of this contributes to how the present moment feels. We may feel settled or unsettled, grounded or scattered, open or guided, sometimes before we consciously know why. This is something Tai Chi and Qigong have explored in their own language for a very long time. In these practices, the body is not simply something that carries the mind around. Breathing, posture, weight, balance, they are all part of how we experience ourselves. And there is an interesting modern perspective here as well. Our muscles and joints are continually providing the brain with information about where the body is in space and how it is moving. This is part of what we call proprioception. From this changing sensory information, the brain maintains an internal sense or map of the body. So movement does more than take us from one position to another. It continually helps establish where we are. I find that particularly interesting in relation to Tai Chi and Qigong practice. When weight passes clearly from one side to the other, when the body turns around a center, when one part changes in relation to another, we are receiving a continual stream of information about position, direction, and relationship. There is a kind of bodily orientation taking place, and perhaps this helps us understand something beyond the movement itself. When our sense of the body becomes clearer, our experience of the present moment may also become a little less hazy. Not because movement somehow solves the complexity of the mind, but because experience now has something immediate and tangible to organize itself around. I am here. This is where my body is. This is what is changing now. That is very different from living entirely inside interpretation. We do not have to immediately define, explain, or intellectually analyze every sensation we notice. We can first allow it to be experienced. That, to me, is one of the valuable qualities of both Tai Chi and Qigong. Practice is not always about adding more. Sometimes it is about developing enough sensitivity to perceive what is already taking place. And what is taking place is never completely static. Even in apparent stillness, breathing continues, pressure changes, muscles adjust, the heart beats. Internal sensations appear and disappear, and attention itself shifts. The body is continually becoming slightly different from one moment to the next. Traditional Tai Chi and Qigong often understood this living continuity through the language of Qi. We do not need to make that mysterious. At the level of practice, we begin with experience, change, movement, connection, and the changing quality of the body from within. The practice is not to make the body say what we want to hear. It is to become quiet enough to listen. That listening may reveal warmth, heaviness, tingling, spaciousness, movement, stillness, or simply a subtle change in quality. Nothing particular has to be manufactured. Tai Chi then gives this awareness a moving structure. As weight transfers, the center guides and the body begins to coordinate as a whole. Attention also changes. We are no longer managing the body as a collection of separate parts. Move this arm, place this foot, turn this head. Gradually, the movement becomes less fragmented. And this raises an interesting possibility. When the movement becomes less fragmented, our experience of ourselves may also become less fragmented. This is why a Tai Chi form is much more than a physical sequence to memorize. The form organizes movement, but at the same time, it organizes attention. It brings sensation, intention, space, and movement into relationship. The body is no longer sitting underneath consciousness as though the real business of being alive were happening somewhere in the head. It is participating in consciousness. That does not mean posture or movement determines every thought or emotion. Human experience is far more complex than that. But the body continually contributes to the conditions from which perception, emotion, and attention arise. And perhaps that is one reason these old practices still matter. Tai Chi and Qigong offer us a way of discovering, directly rather than theoretically, that presence does not have to be constructed entirely through thought. Sometimes we do not need another explanation of the moment. We need a clearer experience of being inside it. The present moment is not only something we think about. It is something we feel ourselves living through. And that brings us back to where we begin. The felt body shapes our experience. This is Dr. Jia at Apex Tai Chi. If you want to explore more possibilities about this felt body, get in touch. My information is below. Always remember, remain curious and be well.